What's going on, guys? Happy Tuesday. It's currently storming outside, and I love it. I love when it storms outside. I don't really know why I like when it storms outside. I just kind of enjoy the chaos that's amongst us and being inside and being all cozy and tight in my blanket, looking outside and being like, ooh, it's scary out there, but I'm in here. You know what I mean? It's kind of that general feeling. Anyways, today, you're here, I'm here, we're all here together, and we're going to be talking about how the plastic industry essentially tricked us into thinking that plastic, their beautiful product that we love so much today, can be recycled, and they could do something about it. And they can't. Now, before you click out, before you get upset with me, let me toss a couple facts your way. I'd really love to get your take on this because I'm just learning about this as of recently. So the plastic industry kind of popped off around the 1940s, around World War II, and we were in desperate need of new material that would help the American consumer and the American business thrive without their material being taken away to be utilized in the war. We enjoy plastic to this day. Everything is plastic. But boy, were the American people obsessed with plastic so much that they cleaned and reused it. Now, the plastic industry did not enjoy that one bit because, well, I mean, they were making buco money, buco dollars. But then their profits started falling. Why? Because we started reusing their material. And that was a no-no. So they dropped a bunch of money into ad campaigns, and that was essentially saying, hey, what are you doing reusing your dirty plastic? Just buy it and toss it. More cost effective that way for a business, and it's just a lot more simple for the individual. So just buy your plastic, use it, and toss it, and then buy some more. Keep in mind, you have almost every single business utilizing plastic in some sort of way.
Presenting the possibilities of plastics. Plastics help save you from dents and broken bones and help food stay fresher. They help save energy. Plastics make it possible.
A lot of plastic. And by the 70s, it was too much plastic. See, plastic started popping up in neighborhoods where it normally wouldn't be popping up, like on the streets or in the oceans. How do the American people react to all this pollution, the plastic? I'll tell you. In 1970, it was the first ever Earth Day. 1 in every 10 Americans showed up to protest the plastic industry and to show their support for Earth Day. And so you have a giant movement, and you have the plastic industry shaking in their boots because, people are starting to look around. People are starting to realize maybe they shouldn't be buying so much plastic. And so what the plastic industry did was pretty genius. When in doubt, put another ad out.
Some people have a deep, abiding respect for the natural beauty that was once this country, and some people don't. People start pollution. People can stop it.
And what this ad effectively did was convince the American people that they were the ones who needed to do something about the pollution. You see, people who care about the environment pick up their trash and throw it away. People who don't.
Audiences are meant to feel a sense of guilt when they see that tier, and they're meant to think about what has caused this environmental crisis, what has caused all of the damage, degradation to this person's land. And of course, again, the answer is the individual who's been so thoughtless and careless.
Now, this ad wasn't completely wrong. Like, I don't disagree with the message. You should pick up your trash and you should throw it away. But that wasn't addressing the initial concerns. This process worked pretty well for a number of years. In fact, you had individuals of their own will creating recycling programs, reduce, reuse, and a couple recycling plants even popped up. The recycling symbol itself popped out of this movement. It was established by an independent artist.
He entered a contest done by the Container Corporation of America. It's an icon that tells consumers that we can keep consuming products, consuming resources, but that the cycle will continue to create a kind of ecological balance between production and consumption.
And it was public domain after that. And it became the symbol for recycling. Plastic industry used this heavily. Of course we want to save the environment. Of course we don't want to pollute anything.
Reduce and reuse, the other two parts of that that three-part message, those sort of went out the window. And so it was all about recycling. Well, in truth, we have never, the United States, gotten even up to 10% recycling rate.
Campaigned for everyone to recycle, campaigned for everyone to pick up their trash, and they even held worldwide competitions for most trash collected, all while ignoring the simple fact that they were the ones producing all of this plastic. Until finally, the plastic industry was forced to look into recycling because the people had enough. And what they had found was it's not looking too good. Plastic recycling is not looking great.
There was never an enthusiastic belief that recycling was ultimately going to work in a significant way.
So instead, in 1988, they founded the Council for Solid Waste Solutions. In this council, what would they do? Well, they'd come up with some solutions for solid waste.
One internal document from the Society of the Plastics Industry cautioned the techniques of cleaning and separating the mixed plastics has not been developed for large-scale economic application. There is serious doubt widespread plastic recycling can ever be made viable on an economic basis.
One of their first movements was to lobby a law to be passed that would require every single piece of plastic produced have a resin identification code, or a resin identification ID. Looks like this. Where do they get this ID from? Well, they got this ID from the recycling symbol. They took the recycling symbol, which is public domain, and tweaked it just a little bit, and then slapped a number in it to tell you how recyclable that product is, i.e., what type of plastic it was. You'll notice that the recycling industry didn't really come out and say, hey, we can't recycle any of this stuff. But what they did do is come out with this symbol, popped it on every single plastic produced, and told the public, hey, people who care about the environment, recycle. And if you see this sign on any of your plastic, it's recyclable.
If the public thinks the recycling is working, then they're not going to be as concerned about the environment. I think they knew that the infrastructure wasn't there to really have recycling amount to a whole lot.
How misleading is that? They didn't come out and say, hey, recycling is pretty bunk. It's not going to work. The same properties that make plastic so frickin' awesome are the same properties that don't allow it to be recycled nor allow it to be biodegradable.
For many years, for about 25 years, we've been sending China our plastic waste, and we've been calling this waste recycled.
It just so happens that out of 7 of these plastic types, only like 2 at best are really recyclable.
The vast majority of the plastic waste that we produced in those decades has been burnt or landfilled or ended up in the ocean or in nature somewhere else.
And so listen, I want to be straight with you guys. I'm not some environment activist, nor am I, the most environmentally friendly person. I just, I don't like being duped by bigger entities like corporations. Like, you see this time and time again, and I'm like sick and tired of it, where these corporations, these giant vast corporations, like you got the fossil fuel community, you got the plastics community, advocating for the environment and not spreading pollution, dropping mad amounts of money, campaigning for people to do their part while they're lobbying for bans on plastic bans, or they're lobbying for the opposite.
Westmead Elementary School, recently kids there won a contest. The contest was sponsored by a group called A Bag's Life, and that's a lobbying group for plastic bag manufacturers. And they fight aggressively against bag bans, which are one of the few things that actually help address the plastic waste problem.
It's hypocritical, it's pathetic, and it's honestly making us look bad. We're being duped. And, more people need to know about this. And that's why I'm discussing this to begin with. I pick up my trash, that's for sure. But I'm not, out there protesting the plastic industry. This is my way of protesting the plastic industry. This is my way of calling out the hypocrisy and the pinholed focus on profit and the fakery. It's so gross, it's so disgusting that y'all need to know about it. And I'm sure a lot of you do know about it. It's not just the plastic industries. You see all sorts of corporations doing this in every single industry, and it's just disgusting. They do not care about your movement. They do not care if everyone has equality. They do not care if our environment is at its best or it's at its worst. All they care about is if you are spending money on their product. And if they need to fake a moral stance to do so, they will do so. Anyways, that's my take on this. There are far more knowledgeable sources about this topic. This is just a take from a random civilian and a random YouTuber who doesn't know too much, but enough. So thank you for watching. The dislike button is gone, so give me your feedback through comments. Thank you, and take care. Enjoy that stormy weather, and I'll catch you guys next year. Or is it next year? Oh, well, Happy New Year.
And some people don't. People start pollution. People can stop it.
Like lightning precedes thunder.